Hi, I'm Andy Ramirez for the Liberty News Network. Today, we're talking U.S. Customs and Border Protection and Homeland Security. December 30, 2011 saw a change of command at CBP headquarters and Homeland Security. 20-month CBP Commissioner Alan Burson tendered his resignation, and they had a change of command ceremony, and attending to do the swearings-in was none other than DHS Secretary Janet Napolitano. She also served to swear in the new acting Deputy Commissioner, Tom Winkowski, who was the Assistant Commissioner of the Office of Field Operations, formerly and long known as U.S. Customs, and a repeated person of interest who has been profiled here at LNN, David Aguilar. Let's mention some of the remarks by Secretary Napolitano. He has set clear priorities and implemented innovative policies and strategies to meet them, and he has achieved remarkable results. Napolitano added that we are very pleased to have two longtime CBP veterans serving at the helm and bringing their broad range of experience to their daily mission. Now, let's get on to Aguilar and his comments. He stated that his CBP team will continue to build on the foundation that has been set. Our job is complex, he said to the men and women of CBP. It is tough, it is very demanding, but I know your mettle, I know what you're made of, so that those who will come after us will stand on an even tougher and harder ground than we stand on today in protecting our nation. BS. I've spoken with many high-ranking former Border Patrol agents, many in management. I've spoken to active duty, many in management. All say he's unqualified for the job. He should not be in his position. He should have been fired and perhaps even prosecuted. But let's get to specific details, because we've reported that he doesn't believe it's the Border Patrol's job to catch aliens. It's not the agent's job to catch aliens. If they want to do that, go to ICE. Now you go back to these musters of 2007, where you have David Aguilar, and this is reported on the National Border Patrol Council's Local 2544 website. It says, and I quote, "Not just immigration officers." Aguilar stated that Border Patrol agents are no longer just immigration officers, and that we shouldn't relegate ourselves to such a position. Border Patrol agents have never been just immigration officers. Their job is to secure the borders between the ports of entry. Let's go to the footage. You need to see this for yourself.
Because we are responsible for protecting this nation's borders. Not a bad thing that we're associated with illegal immigration, because that's a big part of what we do. The problem that I have, the problem that you should have, and I think we need to found our understanding on what it is America expects of you, is that most everybody is basically what I'm saying, truncating it right there. The Border Patrol handles illegal immigration. The Border Patrol handles the border. Well, wrong. The Border Patrol handles this, which we should, and we handle narcotics coming into this country. We handle OTMs. Last year, 108,000. Criminal aliens. Last year, más o menos about 120,000. Narcotics was 1.3 million pounds last year. And we handle anything having to do with terrorism coming across our borders, basically the SIAs. Last year we had about 480, 460 that we apprehended. But very seldom do we hear all of this talked about in the media. Very, very seldom. In fact, not only the media, there are some amongst us that try and portray us as doing nothing but this right here, associated with illegal immigration. Now, I will make the following statement, and I will make it no less than 10, 15, 20 times before this meeting is over this morning, this little town hall that we're having. You are not immigration officers. Let me repeat, you are not immigration officers. What you are is you're members of the United States Border Patrol working for the Department of Homeland Security, protecting America's borders from all of this. And more succinctly, and more important, you're protecting America from those people that wish to come into this country to do us harm, beyond the obvious here. You are protecting America's way of life. You are protecting the way that your neighbors, your sons, your daughters, your families live today. Because if you haven't come to the realization that there are people out there, such as the ones that Mr. Gonzalez ran into on foreign ground, trying to get in here and trying to hurt us and hurt our way of life, we've got problems. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You are not immigration officers. And as we go forth, you will hear me elevate my voice on this, because I actually get very upset about anybody trying to relegate us to being nothing more than immigration officers. And especially when those amongst our own try to do that. It pisses me off, because what you hear about is nothing but here. And that's wrong, because what you're doing is all of this, and all of this translates to nothing less than protecting this country. A couple of things that I think need to be covered, because I think they're absolutely necessary, because you're continuing to hear them. All right? How many of you have heard that the Chief of the United States Border Patrol supports amnesty and legalization? All right. Red, that's the border. Can everybody see this, by the way? Border. This is the United States. There's a pool of illegal aliens in the United States, and you'd probably find this surprising, but there's actually illegal aliens in the United States that have gotten past us. To a tune of about 12 million. 12 to 20 million, that's the number that's being used right now as we speak. All right? Our responsibility is this border. Every day, and nobody knows it better than you, there are tremendous forces working against the Border Patrol. One is illegal aliens at a rate of about 1.1 million a year. Two is criminal aliens. This is aliens. Criminal aliens. I'm going to throw in OTMs in here. You've got narcotics at a rate of 1.3 million a year last year. And then you've got what else coming at us? The terrorism nexus, the SIAs, all of that stuff, not in the great numbers that are happening out there, but that's what you're facing every day, along with everything else out there, the assaults, the rockings, everything else that's happening. But these are the forces that we face every day, that you face every day. Why is this group here in the United States? Why do they try and get past you? Because they're trying to get to the jobs that the American employers are going to give them if they get past us, right?
Not all of them.
Some are here for criminal activity and things of that nature. But the vast amount of what we capture, last year 1.1 million, about 99, 98% were there for here. Remember what I said, 120,000 criminal aliens? That's about 1%. So about 99.
That's what we caught.
That's
what got by us.
Absolutely. Which absolutely supports a point that I'm going to make here. Keep that in mind. What got by us? Very good point by Mr. Tupley there. Now, is that legalization or amnesty? No, because legalization or amnesty pertains to this group here. I've never talked to this group. As a law enforcement officer, as an American citizen, I care about this group. As a Border Patrol agent, as Chief of the Border Patrol, I don't care enough about this group to impact my responsibilities, your responsibilities. Absolutely, this group should be taken care of. ICE needs to get rid of them. ICE needs the resources so that they can do a better job. ICE needs to engage on here as they're doing. Anybody read the paper 2 days ago? ICE did a big operation in I forget where, New Hampshire. Where? Oregon. And they've been doing that kind of stuff. Now, if in fact this occurred and this was mitigated, wouldn't that give you more time, as Mr. Tupley says, how many got away, to concentrate instead of this on the criminal aliens, on the narcotics, on the OTMs, or the potential terrorists?
Now that we're on the subject of, you talk about morale, and you talk about all these things, you talk about the problems that this organization is facing.
Challenges.
Okay, challenges. One of the biggest ones I've always had, and a lot of people probably in this room have had, I can't speak for this sector, but I know the sector that I'm coming from, is to see a lot of people get so frustrated because they know what the problem is. But too often than not, and it's unfortunate in most government work, you have a lot of people higher than us that want to protect their jobs, so they're going to toe the party line and they tell you, play the game, be a team player. But you know that there's fallacies being generated on paper, and they're headed to your office, sir. And
I'm
we
not
know
sure
that's
I'm
wrong.
not sure what you're talking about.
Well,
What do you mean?
Fudging numbers,
Fudging numbers?
telling people what they want to hear. A lot of times it's happened. And
Wait a minute. What kind of numbers?
arrests, spotting things, sign cutting. I mean, there's not enough people who work, obviously, but they don't. They turn a blind eye. No aliens, no problems. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure a lot of people have heard it. So if it's, you know, if we didn't see them cross, nobody crossed. Well, we know they're crossing. We know there's problems, there's challenges. But if they're not being addressed, or they don't, a lot of people up higher don't want to hear it, then a lot of people get frustrated and you leave this
Tell
organization.
you what, I don't know where the hell you're getting that we don't want to hear it, because, young man, you just made an allegation, and I want you to talk to OIG. And I don't mean this in any other way. Then do what you got to do. If that is truly happening, or you believe it's happening, report it. I will personally take it. Absolutely not. That's unacceptable. And if that's happening, somebody needs to be fired.
Why were we prohibited from working 86 when you were chief of the sector?
I'm sorry?
Why were we prohibited from working Highway 86 when you were chief of this sector?
Highway 86.
Yes, the little road
Runs from Tucson
out
to
here in Idaho.
You're talking 86 right in front of Ajo Way?
Yes.
You think anything had to do with the fact that it was one of the most highly traveled highways in the state of Arizona? And also one of the most dangerous highways in the state of Arizona? And you were never prohibited? Anybody here from Borstar? How many cases did you stop on Highway 86?
This was before Borstar even came into existence.
Borstar was here from day one that I entered on duty.
Okay, and I apologize for that. I stopped the load on 86. I nabbed the smuggling case. I did 1324. It led to intel on an entire organization working out of Mammoth, recruiting methods from the south side. I was disciplined for failure to report to my area in a timely manner, because you wanted us all south.
Oh,
of
absolutely.
Milepost 12. We weren't capable of working south of Milepost 12. What you did was you fed the smugglers an entire infrastructure that they never had before.
You haven't heard anything I've said, have you?
I heard everything you said.
Leadership. We have to make hard choices.
Yes.
At the time, I know exactly what you're talking about. We had to take that border. We had to take it.
We weren't going to take that border, and anybody.
What have we done today, sir?
Listen,
What have we done today?
not a damn thing, in all honesty.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
We had a PIO in Tucson sectors, now the PIC on Calexico said that the La Chica Mountains were a natural barrier. Aliens weren't crossing through La Chica Mountains. La Chica Mountains have always been a hostile.
What did I say earlier? Are we going to misstate, make mistakes?
Yes, but the
Absolutely.
problem we had during your administration, when you were chief of the sector, was, and you personally never did, you never said, forward deployment looked also on paper. Great idea, we tried it, we can't do it with the resources we currently have, so we're gonna go back to what worked before until we get those resources in place.
Okay, what
You're a
worked,
politician,
what
that would
worked
have been a
before?
perfect
I'm not a
backup.
politician. Don't you ever accuse me of that. I am not a politician, sir. I am not appointed. I am a border patrol agent just like you are. Don't give me that shit.
You tend to tell the company line a little more than we do.
I am the chief of the border patrol,
Yes, sir, you are.
and I've got a job to do.
Yes, sir, you do.
And I do it for the best of the organization. Now, you said what worked before. When I got here, that was the highest year in this sector, 600,000 apprehensions. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Did you know that when I left, they were down to 324,000?
Mm-hmm. I follow the stats.
But you're saying that didn't work.
When you got here, we didn't have established trails through the 1100 area.
Well,
When
hell,
they
you didn't have the
prevented us from
resources
working
in
the
Douglas and
primary
Naco that was
areas.
displacing them over. And who put the resources in Douglas and Naco? I did.
That's true. But why didn't you let us continue working in the way that worked best
Because
for
it
us
was my
before
decision
the
to make.
infrastructure could get in there?
Very simple. My decision to make. And I made it.
Okay. And after it was proven not to be the best decision, why didn't you rescind it?
How can we say that it was not the best decision if today it looks a hell of a lot better than what it looked like before?
Because we've had all of a sudden detailers every summer. We've had more
And who sent those
infrastructure
detailers out
slowly,
there?
But we didn't have it then.
Who
We
sent those
continued with
detailers
it.
out there?
You started it.
I started it. And when I went to Washington, didn't those detailers triple?
Yes, they did.
Haven't we taken care of it?
But at the time you initiated the plan, it wasn't working and we lost
Every
ground.
first step
We're
is
doing it.
going to be just that, a first step in the direction of getting the outcome that you want.
Right, but the first step that came from the outcome you wanted was the fact that the Antone smuggling organization got a foothold that they never had before. The Francisco.
So you have just seen David Aguilar make it very clear what the Border Patrol's job isn't. Let me tell you, the motto of the Border Patrol is honor first. There was no honor in that. There was no honor in failing to secure the border. And it's all for politics. It's all for trade and commerce. Apprehensions are down. Of course they're down. If you're not allowed to apprehend them and you're not allowed to catch them, you're not going to have apprehensions. So the apprehensions will stay down. That doesn't mean people are not coming through. They're still coming through. There's just nobody stopping them. David Aguilar is now in charge, and he doesn't support agents catching illegal aliens. He doesn't support much of anything except the status quo and anything that'll get him promoted and moved higher up the food chain. You think that's the best way to secure America in light of what we faced in a post 9/11 world? For the Liberty News Network, I'm Andy Ramirez.